What's going on, guys? Into United podcast. It's Mad Red United. We're live. It's Sunday night, middle of Christmas. Hope everyone who I didn't speak to yesterday on the live watch along is doing good and had a great Christmas. I'm just going to take this moment to say to all the guys here with me, Tim, Saeed, Keen, Merry Christmas. Hope you guys had a blind door. You all okay? Tim?
Doing well,
kids, mate. All good?
Oh yeah, they're running around downstairs, so who knows what happens later in the show. Let's see.
Oh man. It's if no one watched the watch along for the Everton game, then you won't know what me and Tim are talking about, but it was eventful. There wasn't two of us. I think there was four. Even Tim, Mrs. was involved at some point as well. It was mental. One of them games. But Saeed, how's you, mate? I've seen you working hard over Christmas still, mate, putting the content out.
Man, we're here. Get me good football, good family time. You know what I mean? And now we're back, man. Football, mate. You know, big result, man. Big result today.
It was big result. Keen, mate, good weekend all around for us in the end. Well, by the end of it, mate. But in terms of you, how's your Christmas been, mate? A few bevies, good?
Yeah, had a few bevies, had a few of the Clonmel champagne. You know, it was all good, and I enjoyed a very good Boxing Day yesterday. Seeing relegation threatened Arsenal beat Chelsea, and seeing Leicester, obviously West Brom take points off Liverpool this weekend. So it's all good. Nice one.
I'm just going to do a quick shout out to a big fan, subscribed. He has been watching the show for a long time. I actually know someone that I know quite close to, I work next to, and that's Rob. Rob, big shout out to you, mate. Thank you for all support. Thank you for following the channel. I said I'd give you a quick shout out, and there you go, mate. Hope you're watching. Hope you enjoy the show. Hope you're happy with what's just happened, because that's just put a bit of a light on this show. Saeed, mate, I'll come to you first. We'll get into the United game in a minute, but if ever there was proof that this is an absolutely mental season in the Premier League, that result just then, West Brom holding Liverpool at home to a draw 1-1. Mate, this is here for the taking, and that game just threw it all open again, mate. Can you fathom what is going on in this league right now, mate?
I can't, mate. I really can't, man. This league is bonkers, mate. And I said to you, man, I put it out there. I said still, there's a chance that Man United could still lift this Premier League. You know what I mean? And it's just crazy. This league, if anyone wants to win this league this year, go on now. Go all full throttle. You know what I mean? Believe in your team. Believe in your ability and go out there, win. Just go and win the game, because I feel like if you go on reserve and you play that way Liverpool played second half, bloody hell, mate. They were missing passes. They got West Brom got in a few times behind. There was a few times where I thought West Brom could have won it. You know, like there was a one-on-one situation. Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like, big Sam Allardyce, in the first half, he played a 6-4 formation. And I was like, what's going on here? But second half, fair play to him, mate. I take everything back, and yeah, man, like this league, man. I don't that yesterday's point when I thought in hindsight was a point going against Leicester, top 2 team. But when you look at it now, thinking bloody hell, mate, we'd have took our chances, mate. Would have been 2. It would have been what, 3 points behind Liverpool? Would it be that, or would it be 4?
What would it have been now? Then we'd have been back to, what's the name, won't we? We'd have pulled it back to 3.
We're 5 back now.
3. Yeah, would have been 3 points there.
Yeah. So,
jeez, man.
Crazy. Everyone who's asking, Mary's taking a night off tonight. She's got her own stuff that she's getting on with. I think
they got Mary, man.
Buzzing more than anyone with that result that's just happened. But Tim, we spoke about it, mate. We spoke about it loads of times, pal. This league, this season, mate. The results. Even Arsenal beating Chelsea, mate. What's going on? What is going on?
Mental. It's just the effect of, it's got to be, it doesn't seem like everybody's switched on. It seems like there's moments during games where like teams switch off and players switch off. It's that, I don't know what it is. Like if it's the pandemic, if it's something that's just caught, maybe there's no fans there to get on them when something does go wrong. Like I don't know, mate, but yeah, it's mental. And we said it before the City game, right? We said like these games against these teams that have now, Liverpool, Everton, Leicester, City, these games are the games that you got to take your chances and you've got to secure points against, because in seasons like this where it's so tight, all those games turn into 6-pointers, and that's where you're going to get your separation is by taking points off your rivals.
That's it. That's exactly it, mate. I mean, Keane, I'll start with you, mate. The title of the video pretty much is as it is. We all know how Saeed has spoken. He's been dead straight down the middle every time. He's not changed his tune. I know that Tim has had one where you said I want to know from everyone in the comments, really, are you half full or are you half empty? Because Saeed pretty much nailed it in what he just said without realising there is, are you looking at it as a weekend sort of outlook, Keane, and say, look, looking at the fixtures, if we are the same points behind Liverpool after we played away at Leicester and they played at home to West Brom, by the end of this weekend, it's a good weekend. But then Saeed said it, if we was more clinical, would that be what the difference is this year in terms of us being realistically title challengers, mate? How are you looking at it, mate? Because it's a long season ahead. We've got ourselves into position now. It's like the start of a big race, isn't it? It's like the Grand National. You get yourself in that first opening pack away from the crowd and the melee, then you can just set your stall out, can't you? And now we're looking ahead, mate. We've got 2 games before Liverpool itself. Looking at the outlook from the weekend now, how do you see it, mate? How's it looking for you?
I think, look, hindsight's a beautiful thing, isn't it? Like, you look at it yesterday, we would have been massively frustrated. We would have been massively frustrated dropping them 2 points. I know I was, because you look at the chances we didn't take in that game. I'd just like to say, if Edison Cavani starts that game yesterday, we take all 3 points and we win that game comfortably. Look, he's shown consistently since he signed for the club how much of an asset he is up front. But you look at it now, Spurs play the Wolves now. Hopefully Wolves can do a job on them. You look at Liverpool dropping points against West Brom. I think you look at it, the glass kind of half empty situation, don't you? Because we get them 2 points. There's serious pressure on Liverpool going into the 17th. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've a game against Wolves, really and truly, we should win that game. And you look going into the 17th, we go to Anfield, we do a job on them. That's a serious statement. But at the same time, you just look at that game yesterday, you look at them chances, and even the 2 goals we conceded to, it's just fine margins, like little lapses in concentration that from a long-term perspective is going to cost us if we're serious about challenging for a league. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is something we need to look at. And I think if Manchester United's board are serious about wanting to challenge, they need to back that manager in January. They need to go in and they need to back him now. Because this in the last 7 years, this is the most winnable league we've had post Sir Alex Ferguson, and the club need to flex their muscles. And we are a big club, right? By name, we're a big club, and by nature, let's go out there now and let's do that. Let's go full steam ahead and let's challenge for this title. The club need to flex their muscles. That's what we need to do now.
That's not happening in January.
Yeah, I don't see it happening in January. But Tim, mate, I mean, going off how this weekend's gone, looking at the results, I mean, we have to be wary ourselves, mate. Any of these results that are surprising everyone can drop onto us. I think we've been more consistent than anyone over the last 2 months in terms of how any team is going. I think United are still the best form team in the league right now. And we looked at the game yesterday. I mean, everyone knows my reaction. I mean, someone made a meme out of my reaction to Leicester scoring.
How was your table? Is your table okay?
Oh, mate, the missus was...
Get a new one. IKEA tomorrow morning.
I'm glad. In a way, I'm glad it was an expensive one because it stood the test. But yeah, man, it had to be. Oh, it just had to be him, didn't it? That's the only thing that got me. Do you know what? Yeah. We were all there, and that shows how I was looking at it. I thought we had the game won, mate. I did when we took the lead. Yeah. And I'm thinking, you know what? That's a game there. I look at it and I go, you know what? If it weren't for what had happened beforehand and the crap start we've had, no one's moaning about that. We've gone head to head with a decent team in Leicester who are dangerous. It's second against third, and we've come away disappointed because we missed a few chances. Normally, you'd go, you know what? Good weekend. Yep. It's the fact that everything's been so bad before it, I think, makes us all a little bit more frustrated in a way. And that's how I had to look at it. I'd settled down. I had to calm myself down because I was going straight out after the game, so I had no excuse. So I was like, you know what? Looking at it, and I've seen the reaction from a lot of people,
Mhm.
and it was. I thought it was a little bit over the top myself because I thought in the end it was a game where no one had control.
Yeah.
There was never anyone in control of that game at one point, and it's like what it was. I can't remember which one of you said it a minute ago. It might have even been you, Tim. You said no one knows, no one's settled, no one's taking control of anything at all at the moment.
I
And
know.
that game against Leicester yesterday, I think, pretty much sums up the league this season, mate. Because I've not seen one game where someone, well, definitely not for us, that we've been in complete control, but we're so dangerous. And I had to take the positives out of it. How did you see it in the end, Tim, and how it all looks right now?
I think it can be both. I think if you look at that game yesterday, like first of all, like our league position, I mean, I think everybody at Christmas time with where we were would be happy through this period that like we're not far off the top of the table. We have a game in hand, and Saeed touched on at the beginning of the show. It's all to play. It's all to play for. It's there for us. I mean, that's the exciting part for United fans is if we can find that level of consistency and stability that nobody else can right now. That's going to be the team that wins the league, is the team that can manage to go on some sort of run and be able to put together a string of results into the run-in the back half of the season. If you look at the game specifically yesterday, absolutely, it was frustrating. I mean, we had chances to win the game. There's no doubt about it. Rashford missed the header early on. He had the chance where he was in one-on-one, and Keno touched on it. Is as much as I think what we're seeing with Cavani is we have a proper number 9. We have somebody that can come on whose movement is good, who can drop a bit deeper, still get involved, but that ultimately can finish the chances. And we saw that on display against Everton, and the watch along you and I did. That goal from Cavani came out of nothing, really. It was just a left-handed strike into the corner. I mean, that's just a top-class finish, and you need players like that sometimes that can not only pull those chances out of the fire, but can finish them when they get them. So I think it was frustrating from that standpoint, where that game was certainly there for us to take. And yes, I see that. I agree with Beecher that, when you look at on the context of the chances that we created and gilted edge chances that we missed, we should have won the game. But from a long view, it doesn't look like anybody's running away with this, and it doesn't look like it just looks like we're in the mixer to win the title. And that in itself, I think, for me anyways, United supporter, it's something that's been missing the last little while. And at the end of the season, I could care less if we win the title and people are like, well, you only won it because other teams drop points. I couldn't give a toss. I couldn't give a toss. Like,
I know.
I really couldn't care.
That's it. I mean,
and we can get a Bruno penalty every game for the rest of the season.
They are on Bruno.
That would be my life.
Saeed, I think your initial reaction was missed opportunity, really, in that game yesterday. Because I think, in terms of a game plan, I've seen Brendan Rodgers is more, but I always thought we looked stronger, mate, and more dangerous. I thought I could see what Rodgers was doing. I couldn't see ours as such. Some of the changes in the team selection, we'll maybe get into them in a minute, because that's where I had an issue with it. But the chances were ours, mate.
Yeah,
we were the team that were creating the clear-cut chances.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And that's why, Tim just alluded to it there, the chance for Rashford. That, for me, he's got to bag that. But I just always look at it and I think that's my worry with Man United. We're kind of living off like moments, and I feel like, the way Brendan Rodgers plays. Oh, is that me? I thought someone fired,
mate. Put the toys away, man.
I got new toys for Christmas, actually.
Tim, you better get clipping that one away.
Oh my days, that's crazy. Oh lordy.
YouTube, you gotta love it, people.
Yeah, YouTube, man, it's crazy. But I just feel like, the way Brendan Rodgers was playing, he had everything but the quality. He had everything but the Don't start, man. Don't start, guys. Come on.
I'm in. I'm done. I'm in. Let's go. Carry on. Down.
You guys need to relax. Relax, guys. Come on. Draw it in, man. We got audience now, yeah.
Giggles, mate. Carry on, mate.
I just feel like, you know, Brendan Rodgers had the players there. We just didn't. We just couldn't. Oh my god! Oh my god, man. I think you know what we should do. Let's all take our cameras off for 1 minute and then let's talk for like 1 minute. You know what I mean? And see if that helps, man. Because I just feel like
I just seen Saeed giggle a minute then, and that would set me off, guys.
Oh my god!
Sorry.
Oh, 1-0 Tottenham as well.
Nice show. And all right, yeah. Spurs are winning. That's going to settle everything down.
Yeah, Spurs are winning now.
Yeah.
Fair play.
God damn it!
Oh my god, man! You know what? Breaking the whole show, mate.
Imagine if someone turned on at that moment. Jesus, what?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. But I just feel like, you know, we had a game plan, but just not the right execution for Brendan Rodgers. But we have the quality, man, and I feel like the quality is what sets the difference for me. I always know we've got abundance of talent on the bench. You know what I mean? Cavani, Donny, Pogba. You know, you can bring anyone on the bench, and I always feel like we'll have one chance, one goal. And I feel like yesterday we didn't take the chance, and inevitably we didn't win the game.
Interesting point you make there, actually, Simon. I mean, you've seen the game plan. I really didn't see it. I mean, what do you think the game plan was there yesterday for us?
I think we're trying to press them in certain moments. I could see it. What United do, they press as a 4. So Daniel James, Bruno, Rashford, and Martial all press as a 4. But then it's one of them, when we get out of that 4, McTominay and Fred are so way behind. I don't know if you've seen it, but Timberlands was going on the half turn and then going into the space. I think against a better team, we'll get caught out there. But you can see some kind of shape to what we're doing. It's just that, you know, we couldn't do it enough. And then Leicester were just happy to have the ball. We were happy to like let them have it. And then it came a case of, you know what, when we get one chance and they're out of their box. And Agent Evans, I call him Agent Evans because he was awful yesterday. And he had 2 moments where he lost his man. The second one for the goal for Bruno, and then the one for Rashford where he nearly scored the header. Them 2 moments, mate. You know what? That could have been deadly, and I thought we couldn't capitalize on that. And then obviously our defense for the goals wasn't good enough. But I just feel like, you know, this with what we do, they're gonna have moments to attack us, and it's all about what we can do. If we do what Liverpool do, you know, and we score 3 goals before they score 1, then we're okay. But if it's gonna be 1-0 and then they come back and it's gonna be like a basketball match, and I feel like that's how we play. In Leeds, yeah, that could have easily been a basketball match. But what did they have? Leicester have? They had quality in Vardy and Barnes, which are better than Leeds players.
That's it. I mean, I'm going to get into it now in terms of breaking it down in terms of team. A lot of people have automatically, and I'll get into this first. I'll come to you first on it, Keane, mate. A lot of people have gone straight into, I think, the easy target, which is our defence. And yes, our defence has been poorly seen. But can any of you guys remember one save that they had to make of note in that game yesterday? I mean, I think people are picking on the easy target as a defence here. I thought defensively we were reasonably okay yesterday, but the difference that Said just touched on there, you've got to accept that in this league there are some world-class strikers, and Vardy's been doing this for season in, season out. He's going to get that one chance, and he even missed it. Let's not forget, this was an own goal, guys, from unluckily for Axel, but it took the deflection off it. He missed it. He's always going to get that one moment. And I feel like it was unfair on the defence for the amount of criticism that they got. And yeah, we lost our man for 1 minute. But Keane, I mean, I didn't think the defence was horrendous yesterday. I thought Bailly played well. He always does well against Jamie Vardy and Leicester in particular for some reason. But is there a shout now to say, look, Ole, you had a good learning curve there yesterday. Can you learn from it? Because there's players in that team that I think have staked a claim in that Leicester game. I thought they staked a claim in the Everton game. I think you probably know who I'm talking about. But defensive-wise, I mean, would you change it now? Would you bring different personnel in? Because I think with Bailly in there, mate, we just look a lot better.
Yeah, like, look, you look at the boy, I think that's going to be an enforced change now. In Victor Lindelof is supposedly struggling now with the back injury now again, which means he could be out for a prolonged period now. And so I think Boy's going to come in now, whether him or Axel come in a centre half, that's debatable. I think Wan-Bissaka was a miss yesterday. I think, look, he's in these big games, he seems to be someone who does turn up. I think when he comes back in and if Boy comes in alongside Maguire. That'll allow us to press higher because we have Boy in there who has pace, where we won't have to play 2 defensive midfielders to help negate getting caught down the channels. When Boy is in the team, we don't get caught down the channels, and you've seen that yesterday. Leicester couldn't play down the channels, with Barnes and Jamie Vardy. Do you know what I mean? So I think Boy coming in, if he can stay fit, that's someone who can be the perfect partner beside Maguire. Because where Maguire, like in the air, like he's a great defender, and like he positional wise he can be good, but sometimes when he comes up against a striker with pace, he can get caught. So I think like if you have Eric Boy there and he stays fit, I think you have a perfect centre half partner behind him, beside him, and it can definitely help us play our more expansive players in midfield.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, Tim, mate, I did pick out Maguire for the first goal as an error. I don't know what him and Fred were doing together. They were dancing. Bruno tried to play the clever ball. He had nowhere else really to go. And then you can say Scott McTominay didn't close down. A lot of people picked up on that one for Harvey Barnes' goal. But defensively, apart from that, obviously you're going to pick out the goals when they go in, and you have to be switched on for 90 minutes. I'm not actually saying that that's not part of the game, and we'll get on to where the lapses were in midfield and attack in a minute. But I think defensively, I thought we dealt with most of their threat comfortably, and the only time that anyone seems to have any luck or joy out of us, mate, is when we try and play a football game that we cannot play, and that is that passing out from the back when De Gea's in goal. It's a combination that just doesn't seem to work, mate.
And I don't think that when you're playing out from the back, I don't think Fred McTominay are your best players to break you out either. I think we've seen, better getting out of the back is either when Bruno drops deep, like we've touched on a million times, or when Donny is back there as well, and he's a bit more of a technician and be able to get us out quicker and really play in tight areas when people press us. So I think it doesn't matter who you have back there, if it's Bailly, Maguire, Lindelof, Aaron Wan-Bissaka gets caught in possession all the time back there. I don't think it matters who you have. It's like you touched on, it's playing out of the back, and you just wonder sometimes, like, I don't get why we just don't go over the top of it a lot more, right? I mean, you can relieve a lot of pressure by going over the top, and that's exactly what Bruno does. Is he comes back deeper and he plays that ball into the channel when Rashford makes that diagonal run to release the pressure. So I think there's a time to play out of the back. I don't think we have the players to play out of the back. I don't think we've found the right combination to play out of the back. And if he's not going to play Donny in that position as a number 8, even Pogba's he's not good playing out of the back for me. So yeah, it's one that's puzzled me too. And teams know to press us, right? That's the blueprint to beat United is 2 things: give us the ball and force you to break them down, and press. Yeah. And if you press, you're gonna turn us over in really, really bad areas, and we're gonna give away goals, and we've seen it.
Yeah.
As far as what's that?
They tried to do it to Lindelof, didn't they, for about first 15 minutes, and they nearly got in there.
It works. Yeah. It works every time. I mean, Saeed, mate, do you think it's a case of the managers now and the coaches are just too arrogant and too embarrassed to play it long sometimes? Because
you know what? That's a good question.
Every single team is trying to do it, and you know what? Sometimes the last person I've seen do it deliberately was when Jose Mourinho, of all people, went to Anfield. He said to every single one of our defenders and the goalkeeper, nothing short. Everything went long. Pick up the second ball, play the percentages, because Liverpool will destroy us if we try and play ball from the back. He knew it then, and I don't think the personnel has changed enough for us to be confident enough to play out from the back. Why is it that they're so arrogant that they have to follow suit, mate? Keep with the trend. Why not just be the one manager who says, you know what, let's maybe push Pogba further forward and let him control the ball, because no one takes the ball down out the air better than Pogba does. Play to his strengths. Is there a case of that in this?
Yeah, I think most of it just come from like the naivety of Ollie. That sometimes he doesn't see it the way we see it. You know what I mean? I think I always think he's got his iPad there, but I think you got the pitch right in front of you.
Did you know it was a notepad and pen yesterday?
I know. I
changed
was
it, mate.
like,
He's got
how
no
small is
clue.
a notepad and pen? I was like, listen, mate, you got good eyes, mate. You know what I mean? Like, how small? We've got £100 million, multi-million pound, like, you know, club, and you can only get that little notepad. I'm sure they don't give you that. You know what I mean?
It didn't even look like he had one of the club pens either, mate. You know, like us members and season ticket holders get in the
I know,
post.
yeah. The little Parker
Going old
pens.
school.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just feel like, you know, yeah, exactly. I just feel like, you know, I don't think it is kind of DNA to do that. I really don't. I think a lot of fans will go maybe at him and say, "What you doing?" Like we're seeing this with Mourinho. I think he's trying to be his own person, but I think sometimes you can get outsmarted, mate. You can get outwitted, and I feel like Brendan Rodgers for large parts of that game, they had most of the possession, but they couldn't do anything with it. They didn't have the quality. We had our two double pivots. We had our back four who were better. You know what I'm trying to say to you? So I feel like we did enough to keep ourselves in the game. But like you said, I don't know. I just think we'll never do it because against Sheffield United, I think Ollie was like, you know what, man, they're nothing. They've got they've not scored hardly this season. Let's do it again. And then what happened then? This Premier League, mate, it's very, very cutthroat, mate. Look at West Brom today getting a point. You just never know, man. I feel like, you know, Ollie's got to be smart and say, you know what, for me, what's best here? I know Wan-Bissaka's not good going out from the back. I know that Luke Shaw, you know, sometimes doesn't get forward enough. So you've got to try and change it around, mate. And I feel like Ollie will have to learn sooner or later because if you want to try and get somewhere, win trophies, these are the fine margins in football. And if you don't do it, boom, you're gone, mate. You're gone. And your team, I just feel like
there is time. Like you touched on it, Saeed, where like I don't know what it is. If it's just they don't see it or they do see it, but they're so ingrained on wanting to play out from the back with the 4-2-3-1. But there's just times when you know a team is going to press you hard. And we start with Martial, you know you're not going to get that relief option from going direct and having somebody that can pull the ball down out of the air and hold it up. There's an opportunity where you don't lose much with Cavani with his movement. He's a proper finisher. He's stronger. Proper number 9 that can hold the ball up. And when teams do press us high early on, to go over the top and relieve the pressure and just get in behind them really, 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 really fast when they play that high line. And then you force them to start dropping back. And that's when you're going to give yourself time to play and build and create little triangles and build out of the back. But you need to go direct at times, and we don't do it. And I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, direct takes out a bit of our frailty in terms of, like you guys said, then in terms of the passing out from the back. But I think yesterday, more than anything, and I was saying this, I posted it out on Twitter as well. I was being positive. I thought the result wasn't the worst in the world, but I was hoping out of this, and I titled the video, "I'm not worried yet." The next few games, that will be when I'm worried because I need a reaction from it now. And the reaction's got to come from Ollie for me because I think yesterday showed that Fred and McTominay work in certain games, but in certain games against a higher quality, it doesn't quite work when you know you're going to be getting a lot more of the ball. It's like when we play PSG, we know we're not going to have a lot of the ball. Fred and McTominay can work in that. They can work in the leads because we know what leads are bringing. They're one-dimensional. I mean, mate, that next game now is big. I'm just looking at it going, is Ollie going to look at this Wolves game, this Villa game now, and then before the Liverpool game, are we going to see anything different in that Liverpool game other than Fred and McTominay? Because if we are looking to create chances and actually do more with the ball, I don't see Fred and McTominay being the right answer for us there. And that was my issue with them. I think I gave them both 5 out of 10 yesterday, I didn't think they were brilliant. I thought they got stuck in, they were combative, but every time they got the ball, I didn't see anything decent from them. There was no clinicalness, and the word I used a lot was composure, mate. I think they need to, especially Fred. He does everything else right, but then he just needs that composure on the ball, which I don't think he's got.
Matic could have done better yesterday, couldn't he? Matic could have done better. Apparently, Matic could have done better yesterday.
Let's not go there, no. Let's not go there. But
you gotta love Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, if I spoke to Ricky, I would say, Ricky, look, it says every time Matic plays well, he's Ricky's man of the match. He gave him man of the match against Everton, I think. I give it to Cavani. I look at it a completely different way. I look at it and go, if you put Fred and Matic together, you've got the best midfielder in the world. That's how I see it. This is like the perfect guy. We just haven't got it. Again, Matic, he's at the wrong time of his career for us, and we can't have him consistently. He's like a lot of United signings, always at the latter ends of the career. Good players, the right players, but at the wrong time. That's how I see it with him.
Massive wide style. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Fred and McTominay going forward now, there has to be some sort of flexibility with it in terms of the big games, I think, for all.
Yeah, I think, like, look, we said it on the show a couple of weeks ago. All he needs to be adaptable to what opposition he's up against. Like, Fred and McTominay against a team who's going to have a majority of the ball, fair enough. You know, they're in the break-up play and disrupt teams who are trying to break our lines. Fair enough. But against teams that are going to play in the counter-attack and kind of park the bus almost, you need someone in there to break the lines. You need a Pogba, you need a Van de Beek in there. You need at least one of them in there alongside one of either Fred or McTominay. Because then, at least then, from a creative aspect, there isn't just Bruno breaking the teams down. You have a Pogba, you have a Van de Beek who can come in there and join in the attack. Like against teams like a Chelsea, right, or Man City or Liverpool, teams like that who are going to dictate the game. Play Fred McTominay, that's completely fine. But all he needs to adapt to this against teams who are going to play with a low block. You play a Pogba, you play Van de Beek, and then you see the benefits in that. I think Ollie, the reason why he plays Fred McTominay is because he doesn't trust the centre backs. I think that's why he plays them too, and that's ultimately why they're playing more or less nearly every game.
When you say that, Keane, sorry to interrupt you there, but when you say that though, apparently we're on course to concede is it 50-something goals this season? But then again, he's still got the double pivot, but still leaking in goals. So is it the system or is it the players? I don't know.
This way. I looked at that first half. 18 side, mate. I looked at it. I went. They targeted the obvious, which was James and Lindelof down the right hand side. They had more threat down that side, and nothing came down. Nothing came down their right hand side. It was all down their left, down our right. It was so obvious what they were doing. Leicester. We brought Pogba on at 55 minutes. I didn't see anything change. I'd seen it change in the fact that Leicester had left joy in the second half when Pogba came on. And like Saeed said, then we went out and we played Fred and McTominay. We played very defensive against Leipzig. We played very defensive against the likes of Leicester and Leeds in terms of them personnel. Again, I know McTominay stepped up in that game and did a little bit more forward play. But if you look at them 3 games together, that's 7 goals conceded in 3 games, even with the double pivot. I don't think it's helping the defence. And I say this all the time. Every time we go to a 5 at the back, I think there's too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's the key word. Yeah, key word.
Automatically think that someone else is going to pick someone up, and everyone switches off in that formation. For me, it doesn't suit us.
No.
And I'm looking.
It's so back, aren't you? You're so back. You're thinking, get out of my way, man. You say, get out of my way.
That right side is a disaster in a 3-5-2 too. Wan-Bissaka is just he can't defend the channels. We just look it's completely disorganized.
This is it. He's out of his comfort zone because when you're in a flat 4, you know your position. You switch on constantly because it's you. When you think someone else could be doing a job that you're doing, are you wholly and solely switched on? I don't think you are, and our players are very restricted in defence, and that's why I think it doesn't work for us. I personally don't think it doesn't work, but Side, I'll come to you on the Pogba, mate. As soon as he came on, we had a lot more control in midfield. It wasn't fantastic, don't get me wrong. We had a lot more control in midfield.
I agree with that one.
It took a bit more of their threat away, I thought.
Yeah, and I feel like, it looked a bit more balanced in there. Pogba started to initiate a few stuff, but I think by then, we were just like, it was, you didn't know we were attacking or defending because, Leicester were just coming at us. So it was difficult. I think he got thrown in a bit too in the deep end, to be honest with you. I think in all honesty, it was thrown in the deep end, and I thought, could he change anything? It's almost again, like you said, too many chefs in the kitchen, because then Paul Pogba was back in there, and then you're thinking, because he was saying apparently it was either him or Shaw to pick up the cross. So you're telling Paul Pogba or Shaw, one who's a defender and one who's a centre midfielder. So who are you telling to pick up? You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's just all over the place. I don't know what the tactics were for Paul Pogba. Was it to kind of dictate the play. You know, we help our defense, make it difficult for Tielemans to kind of pick up the pockets because he was dictating the game, wasn't he? So I don't know what the game plan was, in all honesty, and I just feel like in them kind of moments, what do you do in them kind of moments? You know what I mean? I just feel like he was almost put in the deep end, and I feel like nothing would have helped in that game.
Yeah,
Nothing.
When a game gets to that stage and it's that deep in, there's no
There you
way.
go.
There's nothing
Nobody
that can change it. When you're in it, you're in it. You either get control from the get-go and control it, then you're all right. But when a game gets to that moment where it's like basketball, like Sizer, it's to end, you can't stop it. There's nothing that can stop. The Leeds game, we set the tone early doors, and it didn't change all the way through. It's impossible.
Everton, we set the tone in Everton. Didn't everyone ever? Yeah. I mean, we said just be patient. We're knocking on the door. We're going to break them down. We'll get there.
Dead right, mate. Dead right. It was exactly that, mate. That's the one game I think we have been in control of this season. Complete control. Defensively, midfield, I thought everything was under control. And it just, when you sit up with players that haven't played in a certain position, and I'll bring Dan James to you, Tim, mate. Oh, my days. I want the guy to do well.
You got to feel for him, man.
You do, and this is how I've got to a stage with Dan James now where I'm actually feeling sorry for him because he's just, he just looks like a lost sheep. There was 2 moments in the second half where we had a perfect counter-attack break on. He lost the ball twice.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're pivotal moments in games. And if it's a different player, if it's a Pogba in there who ultimately came on for him after them moments, then it may have been a different story. Composure again. I just feel like it was too big a game, Tim, mate. And there's a few games that are passing by now.
And I feel like the other thing with Dan James, and I don't know if it's just because he's young but it seems like he only plays at one speed. And he's got pace for days, but you need to play with some sort of tempo. Sometimes I find he gets in behind, and he really can't break anybody down. So he's just like sometimes he doesn't he never takes a look up and really tries to pick out a pass. I feel like the game passes him by a lot of times, and he has a tough time reading the game and trying to figure out how to bring everyone into the game. So I think that, I don't know. I mean, for Dan, probably maybe a loan spell for sure would do him some good. I think he kind of got tossed into the deep end last year, right? We needed a proper right winger, and all of a sudden he comes in. We had all these injuries. We're relying on Pereira, Lingard. We're trying to sort out the right wing position, and he's a natural left winger. And all of a sudden he gets tossed into a new formation and a new team with tons of expectation. And he just, whether he can develop further, through a loan, I don't know. I'm not ready to give up on him yet. Personally, I think he just needs to play games, and I think he needs to, and then we'll know what we have. If he goes on a loan spell, maybe to another Premier League club or to another club in Europe or wherever, and he can get some game time and we can see what he has, then I think we'll be in a better position to make that decision. But I just think there's too much going on at the club right now to judge.
Yeah, I mean, guys, we are sort of breaking down frailties here at the moment. I'm by no way at all getting into this as being a negative from the weekend. I'm talking about all these players on the pitch here, and we've just thrown 2 points away. I think everyone can pretty much say we've thrown 2 points away with that bench sat there. And you know what? We've got players to burn at the moment. This is a massive positive for us that our squad is as strong as it is right now. We're talking about Dan James not being good enough. We're talking about Fred and McTominay having poor games, the defence lacking. But, man, we're still fourth in the league with a game in hand. And we've got a bench with Pogba, Donny, Cavani, Greenwood, Henderson, Axel. We've got, and then we're missing what? Arman Bissaka's still out, injured. Yeah. This is what we have got here at the moment. We have got a very, very strong squad. And this is why I think it looks more positive than it does negative right now for United. I feel like we're in a position where it's like we're being able to learn while not losing ground, if that makes sense. It really does. I feel like it's pivotal, and he's at a sort of crossroads now where he's just learned in a big game, top of the table clash, whether you like to disagree with that or not. It was second against third. Can't argue with the table, guys. And we came out of it probably feeling hard done to, having conceded a goal in the last 5 minutes, knowing that we should have won the game. and we didn't have our best team on the pitch, I don't think. So for me, that is the biggest positive going out the weekend. We've seen what's happened to everyone else. I think the spotlight needs to be shone on a couple of other managers right now rather than Ole, to be honest, because there is a certain loved English midfielder down in London and Chelsea region who's getting away with murders, not by the fans. I think the Chelsea fans are starting to turn, but the media definitely need to take a look at what's going on. But I mean, I want to be positive going forward. Keane, Rashford missed chances yesterday. He's come on for a lot of criticism from the fans. Should have had an hat-trick. I mean, it was a great save from Schmeichel. He should have scored the header, I understand that. But man, we're talking about a kid here who's got 12 goals this season already. And he's not good enough for this club. I personally think Rashford has got every capability of being one of our best strikers, or best forwards, I should say, that we've seen at the football club, mate. He's on track to be one of our all-time top scorers. Is it again a case of, because we've had such a bad start, the little mistakes, well, not little, not the big chances, but the mistakes that these players are making is just showing up even more? When we're on a run here now of 6 wins, 2 draws in the last 8 games in the league. Rashford's been pivotal in all of that, I think. And he's getting massive criticism, I think, unfairly. I don't know how you see it, mate.
Yeah, look, I think the criticism he's receiving at the moment is unfair. You consider his contribution this season, as you said, 12 goals. He's doing very well. Left-sided player. He's one of the top left-sided players in the Premier League at the moment. You look at his contribution not only in the Premier League, but also in the Champions League before we went out. He was one of our better players in the competition. Look, because he's Marcus Rashford and because he's a young English winger, he's going to come in for a criticism. Do you know what I mean? That's going to happen because the spotlight's always on him because he's one of our best players. But people tend to forget, before Bruno Fernandes came in, Marcus Rashford last season was carrying us on his back before proverbially his back went out. And this season, again, along with Bruno, he's been one of our more consistent performers in the team. I think it's unjustified, some of the criticism that he's getting. But look, we move on. Like he will be one of our top players, and he will score a lot more goals this season. So I think if whoever's getting on his back needs to get off it and just support the young boy.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we've always backed Rashford. I know me and you have been Rashford in tandem. You had your tent outside Newcastle.
I apologised.
Held your hands up and apologised. It was a rough day, that. So
it was a rough day, man. It was a rough day.
Rashford stepped up to the mark for me, in more ways than one. I do feel his decision making. Yep, I understand that shout from people, but I mean, come on, the guy's still got 20 odd goals last season, having missed a lot of it through that injury, and he's already on 12 this season. Mate, he's already well on track to beat what he did last season, and we're already giving him stick because we haven't take a couple of chances. I know he should have put the header away, but I've seen other big strikers miss gilt-edged chances this season. So I mean, we just got to think ourselves, looking at we've got a player that cost us absolutely nothing, who wants to commit his whole future to this football club and would get into any of the other Premier League teams in this league, mate. Without a doubt. I think we have to put some respect on Marcus Rashford at the moment. I think he's been unfairly criticised. I understand the critique for certain things, but I think some of it is over the top, mate.
You know what it is for me? Like, I always have that expectation from Rashford is, to not expect the best, but also, when he does badly, I mean, just take it as it comes, because I feel like, we do have a hit and miss front four. Some games they'll score, some games they won't. But when he does, you got to praise him, and I feel like that's what you've got to do with Rashford. And the one thing that I like about him now is he might have a what's it called? He might have a like a missed opportunity like he did before, but then as soon as another challenge comes in where you're thinking, oh, he could miss that one, and he scores it. So I just feel like with Rashford I'm glad that he's still getting the opportunities that he has to kind of make sure he kind of makes amends for his misses. I feel like that's the best thing you can do, and I feel like just take it as you can with Rashford, with Greenwood, with James. These forwards are going to be hit and miss, inconsistent. They're going to be hot on form one week. They're going to be, doing things. Just take it as it comes, man, because these are young players. I know young players that come through the academy. I always say when a player comes from the academy, should you expect a lot from them, because they've come through the academy and they've been nurtured through the academy. If you've bought a player for 50, 60 million, maybe you can say, you know what, we've paid that money. We've got Marcus Rashford for free. So just relax, enjoy him while he's good, and just take it as you come.
Is that why, Tim, that Martial probably is getting a lot of stick at the moment as well?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, like Saeed touched on, you're going to have these ups and downs. Like strikers, they're getting themselves into, like Rashford got himself into good positions yesterday to receive those passes. You just missed the chances. It's going to happen. I think we'd all be far more concerned if we didn't create those chances. I would be, but he's going to. I mean, that header, if he could go back and redo it, he probably scores it. So it's going to happen. Players are going to go through struggling. They're going to struggle. You know, they're going to have these dips and forms, and that's where they just rely on the fans and on their teammates to pick them up, right? Like Martial, last couple of weeks, couple goals and an assist, maybe starting to round himself back into form. Rashford's 23. He's played for 3 different managers. He's played, and how many, they tried him at number 9. Now he's out left. He's been out wide. That's a lot to go through at a club, and the dysfunction that's around him at the club. And trying to settle and bet a player in at that age. And same with Mason Greenwood. I mean, Mason Greenwood, same thing, maybe going through a bit dip in form right now. The press has been all over him. Like Saeed touched on, he's a young player. You bring a player into the team this young, they're going to have these moments when they dip in form and things aren't always rosy. And that's part of the growth of a player, right? That's part of the growth of this squad is adapting and moving on from these bad moments.
That's it, mate. And I look at all that you guys just said then, and I look at it and go, for me, that's the ultimate positive, I think. The fact that these guys are getting so much critique is the fact that the levels are finally starting to creep back up again in the fan base. Let's not accept that 4th and 5th are okay right now. We've done that. We knocked that out of the water last season by getting 3rd. Now the levels have to go up. For me, Rashford's already stepped his level up in terms of output. His assists and goals this season, he's only behind what we can only call the wonder kid that is Bruno Fernandes, who's just on a different planet altogether. He's only behind him on, I know Keane's best mate. I know he's behind him on goals and output. But, I mean, you look at it and go, between Rashford and Bruno this season, they've got, 25 goals between the both of them. We're not even bringing Cavani and Martial into it yet. So, and I think these two are the 2 guys, for some strange reason, get more critique than anybody else. I don't think this fan base understand what they've got at the moment and how lucky they are to have these types of players. I mean, you've got 25 goals this season and it cost us 50 million for 25 goals this season so far. You know what I mean? We're the 2nd highest goal scorers in the league. Guys, we've got over 50 goals already this season.
How much was Kai Havertz?
Exactly.
We are dangerous. We are a very dangerous football team when we get going. And I think it showed yesterday we was under par and we still looked like the ones who were going to score the goals. So ultimately, it's massive positive for me. And that's why I'm not too concerned at the moment. The next game, Keane, I want to know how you would attempt to go in at Wolves. This is a Wolves team that's been the bane of my life. My God, I hate these guys. I detest them. But this is a team that always had Jimenez and Jota in their team. This is not the same Wolves team. I've seen it. Everyone in the league has seen it. The fans can see it. Does Ollie change it now to go into this Wolves game, mate? Because I think now we've seen the way Liverpool are inconsistent. It's put the pedal to the metal, mate. I think we have to go for this. I don't think we're getting a better opportunity. How are you setting up for that Wolves game now, having seen what you've seen this weekend, mate?
I think we definitely go back to the 4-2-3-1, and I think we bring in Paul Pogba. I think Paul Pogba needs to start. I think either McTominay or Fred probably gets dropped. I think probably McTominay. For me, I think he gets dropped out of the team. If Wan-Bissaka is back, I'd like to see him back in there right back. Go in there with Boye and Maguire as well at centre half. I think Lindelof's injured. Get Alex Telles in there as well because he's better going forward than Luke Shaw. I think against teams that are going to have us under the cosh, Luke Shaw gets in there. But against teams who are going to park the bus, you put Telles in there so you can get balls into the box. Then obviously look, Bruno Fernandes is in there, and then you go with Martial on the left, Rashford on the right, and you go Cavani up top. You go for the juggler from the off, and you go at Wolves because they're a team to be got at. They're conceding goals this year. They're not as defensively sound as they are. I know you mentioned, Adam, that they're missing their attackers, which they are, but defensively they're not the same outfit that they were the last 2 seasons. So you have to look at that, and you have to say you have to go for it, and you just have to go out and make a statement because the Scousers are under pressure at the moment.
Yeah, Said, mate, are you going in on this?
Yeah, I'm just looking at them now. They're playing all right against Tottenham. They've got dangerous players in Neto and Podence. The one thing that they haven't got though, their defense is not as what they were. They used to be very, very solid defensively, and I feel like they've lost a bit of that. I think Semedo can be got at, so I think Rashford versus Semedo is going to be a good battle. I think Rashford can beat him 1-on-1. I think they've got Marcelo at left back, so maybe we can go in there. Maybe looking at Greenwood in there, be clinical. So I feel like they're not as what they were. I think we've got to go for it, man. We've got to go from the right off. But the thing is, though, man, I think we can't expect a lot as well because these guys are playing Saturday. I know we got a more of a opportunity for them, but they're playing now on Tuesday, and we've got probably 24 hours in front. So we've got to go for it. Got early on, first 45 minutes. If we're not winning the first 45 minutes, then I'm going to be worried because then tiredness comes in, and then you're looking at your substitutions and thinking, right, can you gamble on this or what? Think you've got to play Donny. Surely Donny has to start. It's criminal. If you don't start, you're playing 2 games in 48 hours. You've got to start, man. It's not good enough. So I would go with Donny and probably Greenwood starting this game.
Yeah, just as Said's dinner repeats on him there, Tim, mate. Looking at it, we talked about the squad, mate. Said just nailed it there. He took the words right out of my mouth, mate. It's literally 1 day rest for Wolves.
Yeah.
We have got ours is a 48 turnaround, but if we do what we did with the Everton team that we played against Everton, I mean, there's no excuse, is there, for this Wolves game coming up?
No, especially where if we're going to be dominating possession, and if Wolves is going to allow us, and that's in the past what we've seen is they force us to break them down. I loved what he did against Everton. I think we talked about in the watch along, Adam, where he had Bruno, Fred, and Pogba and Donny playing together. He had Donny on the right, and Donny would come narrow from that right side and just help them overload the midfield and give us more options for him to be an operator just outside of the box. And we were breaking them down. So I think that might be sort of the same way to go, like you touched on with the team that was set up against Everton. We created chances, we just didn't have the final product. And if we can find the final, I mean, ultimately when you've got players like Pogba, Bruno, and Donny in your team, things are going to give at some point, and they're going to start clicking. So I would love to see those 3 play together.
Yeah,
for me,
this is it.
Again.
Before we finish up, Mick's just put it out there. The Van der Beek thing is baffling. To
it is.
Gene, is Van der Beek playing against Wolves?
I know I did in my level. I just said he wasn't, but Tim just actually said it there. The diamond wouldn't be a bad option, like we did against Everton, and put him in there. Do you know? I think maybe you can sacrifice maybe one of the white players and maybe bring him in there, because Wolves will play with a low block, and if you have the 3 lads in there, I think they can break him down. And I think him, Bruno, and Pogba linking up could be just dangerous, and it'd break any team down. So look, when you look at the short turnaround, maybe a Martial does get dropped then, and maybe Van der Beek comes in instead.
Said, is Donny playing against Wolves, mate?
Listen, if he don't play tomorrow, on Monday, or on Tuesday. Tuesday. If you don't play on Tuesday, mate, then I don't think we'll see Donny starting for a long while, mate. I really don't, mate. It's like the guy says there, Mick Colton, mate. It's baffling. Didn't even get a single minute against Leicester. You just got. It's literally a case of if Bruno doesn't play, then maybe you might see Donny. But like a game against Everton, and he played him, but then he took him off, and he just knew that was the easy substitution to do. So I don't think he'll be playing. I don't think, and it's sad, mate. It really is sad.
I think he'll play just because if you look at those games, he'll have looked at Everton and Wolves and thought that those games were probably the 2 that are earmarked for Donny, for a player of his quality to get on the ball and help you unlock a team.
Hope so.
You would hope. Yeah. I agree with you guys. If he doesn't play, for me it's baffling too. But I just.
It is what it is, isn't it? At the end of the day, as Ollie got it, as he got the can he see what's happening right now in terms of that threadbare Wolves squad and the squad that we've got? And you know what? You could look at it and go, this is the game where I do it. This is the game where I do it, because the two players that completely devastated us over many games that we've watched against Wolves are not there. They're just not there. I know they've got the threats, Neto, Prudence, all these guys. They're dangerous-ish, but they're not as dangerous as they once was. And if we play the likes of Bailly, Maguire, we've got Tellez in there, and when Bissaka comes back, if not, hopefully it'll be Axel. Then I don't see us really having an issue dealing with them. It's just what we do at the other end, I think, now. And we've seen what our midfield does when we've got Fred and McTominay, and it works in certain games. I just don't think we need that combination for the Wolves game. I really don't. I think we need ballers in the team. I think we need a very similar team to what we had against Everton. I definitely agree with what Tim said on that one, but that's it. That's where we're at with it, and we'll have to wait and see. But that, guys, for now is the end of the show. Thank you for everyone who's contributed, everyone in the comment section for tuning in. It's been not a bad day. Quickly, before we go, I'm just going to give the guys a quick chance to shout out their channels and their socials. They're all on the screens underneath them right now. But Keen, just give the people a shout out for yours.
So you can catch me at Keen_Franey on Twitter for all your Bruno Fernandes daily propaganda, and you can also catch me on the weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast. We do talk all things Manchester United over there.
You do, check him out. It is a top show as well. He does have some top guests on there as well. Saeed, mate, United Central as always. Give him a shout out, mate.
Yeah, like you said there, man, United Central on YouTube. Thanks for coming. You might want to see the latest podcast, man. We had Al Foran on. You want to see the impressions at the end, mate. Absolute quality, man. Funny, man.
He is mint. He is
fit, guys. Sound lad.
My friend over there in Canada shoveling the snow. Tim, give the people a shout out, mate.
Yeah, mate. Naga Red for my personal account, Naga MUFC for the supporters club over here. So hope everyone has a good holiday season, and
that's it. Games are thick and fast
from Canada.
Going to be serious. Another watch along in less than 2 days already. God damn. Can't wait to get back to the games. But until
get a new table. Boom.
I'm going to post that out later. I don't
you know what?
He
thought, you remember when TJ had that meme when he was doing like that and he was at Everton? Yeah. You'll be the new one now. You're the new one now.
So what did someone put on the group? What was it? When you open your 4th pack of links,
Oh, that's hilarious, man.
Mate, you scared me over here. I was watching in Canada and you scared me. I jumped back. I was like, oh my God.
The light went off and everything. Scrambled. Oh God. It was just it's passion, guys, isn't it? We're a fan channel and we love our football club, and we're just the same as you. That's why we try and bring as many people together on the show as always. Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to miss out on the fan phoning show because of the Wolves game, but it's Christmas and everything's a bit mental. That will be coming back, and I'll keep you posted on that. But for now, guys, that is it. Do like the video, share the video, hit that subscribe button if you're watching for the first time, obviously. And I will see you on Tuesday. I'm doing a few other things tomorrow with a couple of the channels, so I'll be straight back with you guys on Tuesday for the Wolves game. Crunch game again, but it's a crazy season. Let's see what Tuesday brings.